Welcome, everybody. It is getting to be the end of the year, and I can tell that because we do not have many people on today. It must be a Monday and close to the end of the year. But thanks for digging in the last little bit. I did put the Nearpod link in the chat. Looks like a couple of you are able to jump on there. Let me share my screen as well. All right. And we're ready. We're going. So just a reminder, guys, that this lesson is being recorded for learning purposes. I want to make sure you're aware that of the expectations. Remember to follow along with the Nearpod lesson. Use the chat tool respectfully and appropriately, and also to respond to questions and instructions the first time. Okay, we're going to go over something that I think is very interesting. We're going to watch a couple videos and explain some stories about the craziness of what people will do to get in your pockets or your bank accounts or phones or whatever to get money, right? They go to all different lengths to do that. So we're going to be talking about that, but let me just jump into the class real quick. Remember, recordings are posted right here on the announcement page, so you have availability to them. If we look at what's going on, live class today, we have quizzes 29 through 34 that are due, and then the week after that is 35 to 39. I'm probably going to zero everything out probably this Friday or this weekend, but just be aware you do have some time to make it up. Last day for seniors is 18th. Last day for everybody else is the 25th. Okay. As I said, today, module 11, module 12, and then next week, basically 13, 14, and 15. There's not that many. So what I would do personally is I would knock it out all this week so you don't have to worry about it anymore. Class will be done, okay? All right, let's get rolling. The lesson objective today is given quizzes in the OLS, students will accurately answer multiple choice questions about financial schemes and scams with 80% accuracy across one trial. So here's some questions to kind of consider as we're going through this. First one, what are consumer rights and responsibilities? So a consumer is you, okay? Somebody that buys something, consumes something, right? A product, something like that. What are your rights? If somebody were to steal something from you, okay? And this is one reason I pay everything, and I'm going to tell you everything with a credit card, basically. And I do that because I know my consumer rights. If somebody falsely accuses my credit card or falsely does something like that, I file a claim to my credit card company saying, that was not me, take it off. And what they'll do is they'll do a little research and they'll take it off, right? I'm not worried about it. Okay, it's called a zero liability policy, zero liability. Now, if I were to do that with my debit card, okay, debit card's directly connected to your bank account. So the problem is using a debit card is that money's taken out. Now you have to work with your bank saying, put that money back in. And that the bank's like, no, I don't want to put that money back in because then it's on me, right? Then it's on the bank to put it back in. And banks are going to be a lot harder to work with than and that's why you have to pay a little bit higher interest on credit card rates and stuff like that. But if you pay them off, to me, it's worth it. Okay. You know, some other people, it may not be worth it. I've heard different strategies, but the zero liability is a big reason why I use credit cards. Okay. Other things. What is the purpose of consumer protection laws? Okay. So laws to be able to help you. One thing, when I'm actually listening to a podcast about a guy that was a whole credit card forger, convicted, served prison time. He just said that if you're working in multiple different states, it becomes federal, right? A federal thing. But what if you're working outside the country? How are they going to prosecute somebody, right? A lot of these schemes and scams that we see today happen from people outside of the United States, getting Google Voice numbers, hacking your number, sending things off, trying to get access to your information. Okay. How can you avoid theft and that? How can you understand financial contracts, not get locked into something? And what are ways to avoid financial scams? Okay, so what is fraud? Fraud is a deliberate deception designed to secure unfair or unlawful gain. Okay. So some things that they try to do. People, and it's interesting, this podcast I was listening to, he said the first to commit a crime online or through this, the first thing is to steal. The first crime is to steal somebody's identity, because you do not want to do it under your identity. Okay. So people, first thing they're going to do is they're going to look for things such as your social security number. Okay. Keep that close to the vest. Your name, your address, date of birth. Okay. Mother's maiden name, passwords, pins, all that kind of stuff. You got to be very careful to protect yourself. Okay. This is in the UK, so that's the United Kingdom. There's a lot of schemes and scams that go on. So this one is more of not maybe a virtual scam that maybe we're used to, but this show that they have over there is called The Real Hustle. And they started this show because people were getting scammed out of money all the time. That's what people were doing over there. So I want you to watch this little 4-minute video that shows how somebody tries to get you away from something that is important to you. Okay. So for example, this one's going to talk about getting yourself away from physical items, right? Virtually is just important through phone, that kind of stuff. So let's watch this and then we'll have a little discussion.
Jess is in a busy shopping centre promoting a new left luggage facility. And for a limited time only, these lockers are completely free. This is the lockup. With so many people weighed down by bags, it's not long before Jess finds someone to make use of this great offer.
Yeah, so you got quite a few bags with you today. Would you like to use one of our free lockers? You can have one each. Yeah, you're welcome. Put your stuff in there. Okay. But if you can shove it all in one, or I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you 2 lockers. There's yours. Thank you. And one for you. There you go. Just make sure you're back before 9.
And the other lockers also start filling up. That's a bag of shopping and a backpack.
I'll put all in there. Thank you very much.
That's another bag locked up perfectly safe and secure, not in any danger at all of being stolen by unscrupulous hustlers. 2 hours later, the customers start coming back. But instead of finding Jess, they're faced with a big empty space where the lockers and their bags used to be. They head into a nearby shop to ask if they've seen 40 metal lockers vanishing into thin air. And they're not the only ones wondering where all their belongings have gone. Let's take a look at what they didn't see.
Just here.
This was the mall earlier in the day.
Why don't you go just there?
You think so? That'd be nice, yeah. Come on, someone might steal them.
In a matter of minutes, this empty corner of the shopping centre was transformed into the hustlers' left luggage facility.
All right, cup of tea. Bye-bye.
Nah.
Once Jess had collected as many bags, rucksacks and carriers as she could,
Do you want 2 of them?
it was time to call back the hired muscle.
Ooh, heavy.
And as quickly as the seemingly permanent lockers appeared, they were gone. And along with all those bags, went into the back of the hustler's van, never to be seen again.
There was a lady down there that was having some lockers there for anybody to put their bags inside. And basically my friend put her bag in there. And I was saying, no, I ain't putting my bag in there because I actually come here often. So I've never seen such a thing. So I thought, no way.
I think my passport's in there as well. So I really need my bag. I can't believe it. I really can't.
Hustlers are always looking for ways to separate you from your belongings. And there's nothing they like better than finding a way to get you to give them your stuff.
Anytime you have to leave your luggage in lockers, make sure you're using reputable facilities like at a train station and an airport. Of course, if you want to be sure about the safety of your belongings, the best way is to keep them with you at all times.
Whenever you're invited to part with your valuables, whether it's locking them away or depositing them somewhere, if there is something unfamiliar about what you're being asked to do, don't be afraid to double check. You know, if it means going to a shopping centre and say, are these cabinets new? Are they okay? Then do so. Don't be embarrassed about it. It's your money, your goods, your valuables that you're parting with. So just be safe about it.
All right. What's your guys' thoughts? Was that interesting? Good video? Yeah. So if you want to check out more of those, they have a ton on there. You just go to YouTube and type in The Real Hustle, and it goes through scenarios that have actually happened in real life. People are actually doing their replay the hustles out and show how this can be actually legitimate. Okay. So you have certain rights as a consumer. Okay. You have the right to be safe, to be informed, to choose, to be heard of these things. But you also need to take precautions yourself, right? To use products safely. Okay. That's important. Okay. Those lockers there, right? Were they reputable? You know, as the guy said in the very, it's okay to go into a shopping center and say, hey, is this legit, right? Or is this just a scam? Okay. To inform and to make decisions. Okay. So you need to seek out this information. Okay. There's going to be people all the time trying to get play on you. Okay. Trying to get into your pocketbook. To choose goods and service carefully, to speak up and let likes and dislikes be known. Okay. That's a good thing with like kind of reviews and stuff that you can do like online to review certain places just to kind of show if they're good or not. Okay. Here's some agencies that have been set up to help you consumers. One's like the Food and Drug Administration. They check our food. They make sure that things are legitimate, good for us to put in our bodies. Okay. Consumer Product Safety Commission. What they used to do, they'd hit a whole big, huge crackdown on toys coming out of China. And the reason they did that is the Chinese were basing these children's toys, these baby toys with lead. And there's famous case, they base them with lead. And what do babies do, right? They don't play with toys. Well, they play with toys, but they put them all in their mouth. Babies were getting lead poisoning, okay? So there's certain safety precautions that we need to do. The next one is the Federal Trade Commission. This is for buying stocks and for buying different things like that. So one thing that I like to do is I like to go and play the market a little bit, throw some money in some stocks, just kind of see what's going on. The market's been horrible lately. I just looked at it again. I'm like, oh, I'm in trouble. But that helps you there. The Better Business Bureau, that's something to help people as well. The Bureau of Consumer Protection. Okay, that's who you have to call if you have to like do a claim like against credit card and stuff. File a complaint there, and so forth. So there's some agencies you can help. When you're putting your money into a certain thing, you want to make sure that it is insured and backed by the federal government. Okay, since all of us here live in the United States, we can. Most banks are federally insured up to $250,000. So basically, if you have $250,000 in your bank account, they will insure that to make sure you're not. It doesn't like magically disappear, right? Okay. There's ways to monitor your identity. Okay. So you probably heard of identity theft protection before. Something that you may want to do, just check your credit, make sure nobody's using your stuff. Don't give out personal information to unknown people or companies. Protect your credit or debit cards, protect your mailbox, your wallets, passwords, PIN, antivirus on your computer, notify the bank when charges are not there. Do that, even though I know it's a huge pain in the tush, okay? Make sure that you do those double verification to be able to log into stuff, you know, where they have to send you a text in order to log in or whatever. That really, really helps out. Okay. Let's talk again. Okay, so on the Nearpod, I want you to put in your ideas. So Bethany purchased a new pair of shoes from the internet. What steps should she take to ensure her identity was protected while making the purchase? Okay. So what should you do? What are some things you should do? Make sure you're protected. Or think about yourself. You're buying something online. What do you need to make sure about? Okay. Make sure the site is secure. Very good. Okay, I can show you right up here. So like this Nearpod thing, right? See how it has this locked thing? Once you put in your information, it should be on a secure site. Research who you're buying from. Very good, right? You don't want to buy from somebody. One of the things, so that this podcast I've listed is very interesting with this guy that, you know, did like millions and millions of dollars in credit card theft and other theft. What he said is you need to, what he would do is he would just send out phony cashier's checks, right? Or whatever. And it's just, or say, hey, send me this, right? And it's crazy. Make sure it's not a sketchy website. Yep. Make sure the site has correct safety standards. Yep. Very good. I don't know why I fell for this one time, but I was selling a car and I wanted to get sold, and this person texted and said, hey, interested in buying your car. And I said, okay, you know, what it is? And he's like, hey, do you have like a Carfax on it, or can you just do this little thing to make sure it doesn't have any accidents and send me it. So I did it, and it charged me some money. And I was like, dude, that was just a scam. He probably set up this website for me to go and do this Carfax from so he could legitimately, you know, like make money off me. Yeah, make sure it has correct safety standards. Yep, very good. Okay. All right. So some other scams and schemes here. Okay, a scam is a fraudulent or deceptive scheme. Okay, I'm going to tell you. Oh, is this the same one? That's interesting. This is the same video. Hold up. Okay, we're going to go back to this video real quick. Okay, so for some reason it put different videos in the different spots. But I'm going to tell you a story about, has anybody heard of Frank Abagnale Jr. or the man from the story, which is a true story called Catch Me If You Can? Have anybody ever seen that video, that movie? It's a book, it's a movie. It's actually also a play. My niece did a play at the local high school. Has anybody ever heard of that before? Catch Me If You Can. Well, if you haven't, this is just kind of a little preview of the movie. So Leonardo DiCaprio plays him, but he started at 16 years old. This was based in the 50s and 60s. 16 years old, this man started to forge checks. And he didn't, and I remember what I told you, the first step of committing fraud and schemes and stuff like that is identity theft. So what he did is he created different people, okay? He posed as a pilot. He posed as a doctor. He posed as a lawyer. He actually posed as a professor at a university, at a local university here. It's called Catch Me If You Can. Yep, Catch Me If You Can. You can watch the video sometime. It is PG-13, so ask your parents if you can do it. But it's a really good show. But here's a preview of it. It came out like in the early 2000s. So here we go. So this is Frank Abagnale Jr. This is him posing as a pilot.
Hello.
Hi. Are you deadheading?
What?
Are you my deadhead to Miami?
What? Yes. Yeah, I'm your deadhead. Here you go.
You're a little late, but the jump seat is open.
It's been a while since I've done this. Which one's the jump seat again?
Have a nice flight. Are you my deadhead?
Frank, Captain Oliver, John Larkin, the co-pilot, Fred Telly, flight engineer.
Frank Taylor, Pan Am. Thanks for giving me a lift, boys.
Go ahead and take a seat, Frank. We're about to push. What kind of equipment you on? DC-8?
707.
You turning around on the red eye?
I'm jumping puddles for the next few months, trying to earn my keep running leapfrogs for the weak and weary.
No shame in that. We all did it.
Have a seat.
Thank you.
Would you like a drink after takeoff?
Milk?
80 knots. Check.
Okay, so if you ever want to see that, that's a good show to kind of show you how scammers and schemers have been around for a long, long time. So I don't know why it put a different video in a different place. But here are some things, more financial schemes that people look at. So you've probably heard of a pyramid scheme. Okay, a pyramid scheme is a fraud in which people pay to join an organization in exchange for the rights to sell memberships to other people. Okay, you probably maybe heard of Ponzi scheme before. This is closely related to a pyramid scheme, but the promoters generally have no product to sell or pay no commission to its investors or who recruits. So they had a lot of people in a Ponzi scheme. Bernie Madoff is kind of one of the big ones that you may have heard of, where he took a whole bunch of retirement accounts and he just basically took the money, and then they forged basically documents showing that investors were making money on them, and they had a whole bunch of other investors jump in, and everybody kind of lost their money, and he went to jail for a long, long time. Affinity fraud, this is kind of the same. Predatory lending. So this is what you need to watch out for. You need to be knowledgeable about financial stuff. So when you're signing a loan, payday loans are not good, okay? You need to really know what you're signing and agreeing for, because they can hit you up to like 25%, you know, on a reoccurring basis. So, I mean, you may get a loan, a payday loan, and never be able to pay it back because of the interest rate is so high. So you really got to be careful on what you're doing, okay? Okay, they falsely advertise what it is, and all they're trying to do is get you to sign that document, okay? So make sure you're going over things. So here are some warning signs if you're going through. If they have unreasonable high interest rates, if they talk about multiple refinancing things, unnecessary debt consolidation. So that means put everything that you need to into one thing. I won't do that. Okay, balloon payments. So it means like you only pay a little bit for much, and then it goes up dramatically after a while if you don't pay it. Negative amortization. So it means you're actually gaining. You're not ever breaking into the loan and paying down the loan. You're just paying the interest. So like interest only. Door-to-door solicitation, backdating of documents, okay? Large loan broker fees. Kickbacks between lenders and brokers, okay? Single premium credit life policies. You're never going to have that. You're never going to have to pay one time for a life insurance policy. There's always multiple payments, yearlies. Advanced fee schemes, okay? This is another thing. So I was in a small city in Utah. I won't tell you which one. And so my buddy and I were there, and we stopped at a grocery store because it was like the only place in town to get food. I mean, seriously. So we went there, and I always pay by credit card. Remember, I told you. Well, he paid by his debit card. And it always asks when you do a debit card, do you want cash back? He pressed no. Okay. On the pad, it said no. I saw him do it. But then it automatically, they set it up so it would automatically give cash back. So I'm only thinking this is what happened, but I think the cashier, what they did is they said, and what they would do is they would open up the cash register, grab the 20, put it under the table, and put it there. So they would get, every time somebody made, they'd get $20. And so then he goes back, right? So he caught it, luckily, right? And he said, I induced cash back. They're like, oh, I'm sorry. You know, and they'd refund it or whatever. But I think they were playing some type of game there, right? So interesting. Okay, online auctions, fraudulent jobs, okay, to get people's information, okay, to get a fraud. So like, send in your, oh, you got the job, send in your social security number, all that kind of stuff, okay? Money-making scheme, bogus charities, scam schools, okay? So they work all kinds of ways: dumpster diving, computer spyware, phishing, farming, wireless hacking, stealing, shoulder surfing, okay? So many different ways that they can kind of get it. So you need to be smart and aware of all these things that are going on, okay? Biggest thing is don't be a victim. Be able to do your homework, know and understand what's going on. Okay, so that is our lesson today. If you have any questions, you can stick around. I'll answer them. Remember, this week we need to do quizzes 29 to 34. And honestly, I would just do 29 to 39 and just get it all done and be done with the class. Okay. So that's all I have for you. I'll stop the recording, but I'll answer any questions you have any. Thanks, guys.